It's Trials weekend. Are you going to go in there and go flawless? Maybe you're lacking in the light level grind. I know I have. This video is going to be geared towards you. If you're going to be helping a friend go flawless and they're not up to par with their light, maybe they're at 990, 995, this video might help them out as well. Now, if you're like me, you had responsibilities, you had to go to work, you couldn't grind as much as other people. Those other guardians are going to be at 1000 light. You may not be there. So if you're still brave enough to enter the Trials of Osiris, or maybe your friends are egging you on and they want to carry you all the way to flawless, this is going to be a quick guide on how you can hold your own and not be a detriment to your team. Now, we're going to be breaking down this information into two parts: the weapons you should be using and the subclasses I'm going to recommend. So getting into the weapons we're going to be focused on utilizing, what weapons do we want to use? Well, those weapons are going to be high impact weapons. Those weapons right there are going to give you the fastest time to kill when you're under light. Now for hand cannons, you're going to want to gravitate towards the 110 RPM hand cannons. Now, I know this is not the best archetype in the current sandbox, but consider this scenario. You were at 960 light and you're going against another guardian that is at 1000 light. You both have the same weapon, the Not Forgotten or the Spare Ration. They will still 3-tap you while you will not be able to do the same. Utilizing that same scenario, now you have the Duke and they have the Spare Ration. You will now be able to 3-tap them since you can deal enough damage to that Guardian. The Duke on its own can deal 90 crit shot damage in regular Crucible. But since light leveled is enabled and you are under light, as long as you can deal 70 crit shot damage, you stand a chance in this fight. You will be able to 3-tap. If you had the Spare Ration and you were under light, you would have to land about 6 to 7 shots just to win that engagement. So overall, that is way too many shots for that fight and you're gonna lose. If you have the Duke hand cannon, the 110 RPM hand cannon, you just have to make your enemy miss one of their shots so you could win that fight. You have to use a hand cannon the way it was intended to be utilized, from cover, peak fire. That right there is going to go a long way for you. Taking this a bit further, this is where your kill clip Rampage Dukes come in handy. You need to pull them out of your vault because they have a lot of viability now. Rampage, killing a Guardian, your next shot is bonus damage. So even if you are a tad bit under light, or maybe you are out of your range, you will be able to deal bonus damage with Rampage, allowing you to stay in that fight and quite possibly winning it when you're under light. Now, switching over to pulse rifles, I'm only going to recommend one archetype, which is going to be the 340 RPM pulse rifles, which those are going to be weapons such as the Redrix. The Redrix on its own in regular Crucible has 2 burst potential, so they could easily 3 bursts when you're under light. Utilizing the kill clip Rampage mentality, this is going to help your time to kill exponentially. Why? Because again, depending how much light you are under, when you have bonus damage, this is going to allow you to stay in the fights rather than be dealing almost little to no damage. Redrix is going to be one of the ones I'm going to recommend. Why? Desperado. Being able to fire that 340 RPM like it's a 540 is huge. It's going to help you take down any Guardian regardless of light. Any of those Guardians that are at 1000 light, those are raid bosses to me right there. Now, for snipers, I'm only going to recommend one archetype, and those are going to be the 72 RPM snipers. And I can tell you this, a 72 RPM sniper will always one-hit kill to the head regardless of how much light you are under that Guardian. Now, one sniper or one archetype you want to stay away from are the 140 RPM snipers, because you will not be able to one-hit kill to the head. This is where the 90 RPM snipers are kind of in a gray area. If you are at 960 light and your enemy is at 970, well, you could quite possibly use something like the Beloved. But if they're at 1000 light and you are at 960, I would stay away from the Beloved and just stick to something like the Revoker. One, you get Reversal of Fortune back, or you get Reversal of Fortune to activate, you get a round back. And again, it's a 72 RPM, which will always one-hit kill to the head. As for shotguns, I'm going to want to recommend you stay away from them. You can try slug shotguns, you can try the Chaperone, but being that close to a Guardian that is at 1000 light and you are under light, they're going to melt you with a melee and this is not ideal. You don't want this in a game mode like elimination. Moving on into supers. This is where helping your teammates goes a long way. So starting off with the Titan class, I can only recommend you run Sentinel Titan. And the reasons for that is, one, you could utilize suppressor grenades to cancel other supers regardless of how low your light is. Also, just because you are under light doesn't mean your bubble is less effective. By activating your bubble, you'll give your teammates overshield. You'll give yourself an overshield. You now will have bonus damage on weapons such as the Redrix, on weapons such as the Duke, which is going to give you an even playing field against your enemies. Do you want to take this a tad bit further? As a Titan, before you pop your bubble, you want to utilize the Crest of Alpha Lupi, due to it having its ability of generating additional orbs. When you have that chest piece on and you activate your super, you will generate additional orbs. This is going to allow your teammates to gain super energy just by you being there and activating your super. Now, moving on into the Warlocks, I'll tell you right now, your Dawn Blades won't kill a Guardian that's higher light than you. I will say the only subclass that I would run, and I'm recommending you run it too if you were under light, and that's going to be the Attunement of Grace subclass, which is going to be very effective for your teammates by granting them healing and keeping them in the fight. This is going to help you out a lot, because keeping them in the fight, them being at a higher light level, or them just being in the fight in general, you want to keep them out there alive longer. Again, this is an elimination game mode. Being alive is key. Now, you could also rock your Empowering or Healing Rift. Empowering Rifts are going to allow you to deal just a tad bit more bonus damage when utilizing weapons such as Redrix, when utilizing weapons such as the 110 RPM hand cannons, the Duke. This is going to go a long way. As for Hunters, you could run a wall hack build and assist your teammates by giving them proper callouts, or you could use something like the Worm Husk that's going to keep you alive. And as for supers, the only super I could recommend if you're a hunter is probably going to be the Night Stalker, and that's going to be piggybacking off the same thing as the Sentinel Titan with your grenades. As long as you can shut a super down, you are not a detriment to your team. Also, by running Night Stalker, you will be able to go invis, helping you stay off the radar. And if you're sniping with the beloved sniper, this could give you an edge on your enemy. Or if you are invis and you're using weapons such as the 110 RPM hand cannons or the Redrix, if you are invisible, you could land your first burst or your first shot, giving you the edge in that fight. Ultimately, you're going to be facing teams that are higher light than you if you haven't been grinding. But if you still want a fighting chance and you still want to play trials, because I'm going to be utilizing these tips because I do want to play trials. I'm not at 1000 light. These tips right here are going to give you an edge. They're not going to give you the flawless win. They're not going to make you super powerful, but they'll at least give you a fighting chance. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Do me a huge favor. If you guys like this video, if you like these tips, all you have to do is hit that like button, and it lets me know, Brave, make more videos like this. Hopefully you're enjoying the other series I have running alongside Ascended Nomad. If you are, comment down below and let me know as well. You guys are awesome, and I'll see you out there in the Trials of Osiris.
You've got to hold those zones. Maybe next time, Guardian.